Yo, welcome back to the channel. We're gonna be working on the X-Ray out there, but it's been pretty busy in the shop here. Dad went and got himself a boat. The Humvee is up at my house, so the C10's over on my side of the shop. The vet's over here as always. This thing has not ran since yesterday. I hope it starts. Try to do this with one hand. This car is filthy. It was outside yesterday when they were mowing. Got a little dusty. Get the C10 out of the way. Let me drive the boat. It also has not ran since yesterday. No seats. Let's see what happens. I can't see. Ready? That'll work. The XJ is in here for a couple different reasons. We're gonna be doing some wiring. First, we're gonna wire up the in-cab winch controller. I've had it set up here for a while, right here, but these are all just dummy switches. There's no wires going to them. And then last video, we put on this light bar, but the lights wouldn't turn on. They weren't grounding, because apparently the limb risers are what we're grounding them to get them to turn on. So we'll probably end up taking off the light bar and then just running a ground wire direct. I kind of wanted to look into it. The Jeep's been making a weird noise when I start it. Yeah, I'll just show you now, if you can hear it. Let me know what you think. When I start it, sounds like it's coming from like transmission, maybe loose exhaust, but everything seemed pretty tight. Just kind of sounds rattly down here. Yep, of course it's not doing it. It's kind of doing it. It's just like rah, 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 rah. I don't know what's going on there, but we'll try and look into that. Now, the plan is, with the winch controller, I went ahead and just did it the lazy way. Took apart the included controller that plugs into the side here. Took it apart for the switch right here, and it's already got all the wires. It's already in a nice harness, and it's probably long enough, maybe. I'm gonna tear into this control box here and see how easy it's gonna be. Looks like there's just Allen screws all the way around. Let me pop that off quick. Got that lid off, but you know what? A better idea is gonna be disconnecting the battery before I get too crazy. That's better. This is the switch that came with this winch. And we got blue, yellow, green, and red. And right here where it would plug in, again, blue, yellow, green, red. What we're gonna do is cut into here, splice it to this, run this to the cab, then unplug this box, get it out of the way. Now we cut red wire, get these stripped. Now if it makes you upset because I use butt connectors instead of soldering, I suggest turning away now. Now, before we get too carried away, wiring up here, we're actually gonna head inside. We're gonna get all the cab wiring situated first in case I run out of wire and need to add some. In the cockpit now, and I made something for you guys. It's a pizza. Nope, it's a wiring diagram here to help. All right, I just explained all that in the Jeep, but the lighting is not good in there. So I'm gonna explain it all again right now. So we got 3 wires coming off the winch. One is gonna be hot, going to the on-off switch. That's this guy right here. There's only 2 tabs on the back, just for the power to run right through. Off of that, we have our indicator light. The positive will go to one end, and then we'll just ground the other end. So every time the switch comes on, the light will come on. Lastly, we have the 3-way switch. That's gonna control in and out for the winch. We got power coming into it. Again, once this switch is flipped, the 3-way switch will have power, and then one side is in, and one side is out. And that's the blue and green coming off the winch here. I already took off this panel underneath. Next, we're gonna pull off the shifter. Just, yeah, pull that off. Take out this questionable looking piece, and then that panel pops right off, and we have access. We're gonna be able to do everything right from the bench here. The only thing is, we're gonna need to find a ground for that indicator light. We can do that later. First, I'm gonna cut back this loom a little bit. Looks like green and yellow is gonna be our hot. We'll cut that right here. Next, I'm gonna make the hot side for the indicator light. And then I'm gonna use one of these female connectors, like such. And then we're gonna want these 2 wires to be together. And then, just a little jumper wire. And we put an eyelet on here to go to the on-off switch, like such. Now the last thing to do is the hot coming from the winch needs to go to this side of the toggle. And then for this, Actually, I should just stick the inline fuse right here. Let me grab one. Got our inline, we'll throw a 10 amp in there. And this can just go right to there. And that is that. Let's get some heat gun action over here. Back inside, we're ready to install this. Check this out. I already have a ground in here from previous adventures. Got all that slack pulled through. Got the ground hooked up, so we're gonna set this back on here. That clicked into place pretty nicely. I'm gonna route this nicely somewhere up there. Bring it through the firewall, out that hole, run it along the side. Wherever I routed the winch cables, I think right through here. Whoop. Got it routed, panel back on, very nice. Routed into the firewall, along the loom, very nice. Only thing is, we came up a little bit short, so close. But what I decided to do is sacrifice a length of this old extension cord because there's 3 wires in here. But that already has a new end on it, so I'm gonna cut it off. I'm gonna cut it off at this end. Looks pretty ugly anyway. Got our extension cord connected to our original one and routed the rest of the way so we can finish it off. Not forgetting to wire this in, that way we can use a controller if we want to. Looks something like that. We have the plug installed, that way we can use a handheld if we want to. Let's hook up the battery and see how we did. No fire. All right, we'll switch it on. Indicator light comes on, in and out. I'm gonna hold it out and see if I got them hooked up right. Yep, that one out. Nice. Reel it back in. Switch it off. Light goes off. That is clean. Now we can button this up. Since we have a new cable coming into the cover here, I notched the back out so it can fit around that. And then I might put some silicone on there. Now that the winch is all buttoned up, we can get started wiring the ground wire up for the light bar here. I think I'm just gonna end up taking the whole thing off. So we're gonna cut it. And I'll just bring the whole thing over to the workbench and we can take a look at it over there. So the way I had it set up before, I had the ground wire just grounding directly to the light bracket itself. And then we're gonna end up cutting it, feeding it down here to the wire loom, and then we'll send it down the A-pillar and get it grounded to the Jeep. Well, that was a little time consuming, but I got it done and routed in and tidied up. Looks half decent. So we'll throw the bar back on the Jeep. Got all the wires fed, red and black right there, coming down the A-pillar. And then we'll get that wired up, but right now I'm gonna tighten the bar down. That way I know how much slack to leave. Good enough. Everything is connected, tucked out of the way. Got it going down the A-pillar, looking good. And then I grounded it right here to this hood mounting bracket. Put this negative back on here and test it. Nice. Well, that's another thing off the list. I don't know what to do next. Give me a minute. The Jeep is up in the air and on jack stands. I think I know what we're gonna do next. Also, I finally decided to paint the door handles. This has been on the list for like a year, and I painted the other side like 6 months ago. I painted the passenger side door handles. Don't ask me why I didn't do the driver's side. I don't know. Using some trim paint, finally getting that done. Let's pull off the wheels. Ripping these wheel spacers off because I'm tired of them being red. Should have painted them right away because I didn't like them. I scuffed them up real quick with some sandpaper and then taped off the studs. So let's throw a coat of paint on these, see how it looks. Paint's drying outside. I'm gonna try and start this thing and try and get it to make that noise I was telling you guys about at the beginning of the video. Oh, did you hear that? Kinda did it. I don't know. At first I thought that noise was the front drive shaft, but then I figured out it's doing it when I start it, not when I'm moving. So it's not the drive shaft. I don't think it's the transmission. If I had to guess, I'd say the transfer case, and honestly, I'm more of a fix it when it breaks kind of guy. And there's another transfer case sitting over there. So we might just put that on the back burner for now. I am though gonna remove the front drive shaft. I am getting a different kind of noise at speed. So I wanna see if that has something to do with it. It's making that noise really bad right now. I'm just leaving work and recording on my phone, and this is after I made the video that you're about to watch. So the front drive shaft is already out. Let's put it in gear. There, it kind of got quiet. Seems like 4-wheel drive doesn't make a difference, but putting it in drive, does. Let me know what you think. I don't know. Here is the front drive shaft. Now I kind of want to replace this thing for two reasons. One, the rear joint back here is pretty stiff. And another thing is the slip joint right here. There's no grease fitting anymore. I don't know where it is, so you can't grease it. And it is so hard to make it move. See? Oh, yeah. So I think I'm just gonna get a new one, or a junkyard one that is half decent. So that's out of there now. Wheel spacers are done. They look much better. But this time around, I'm gonna be using some thread locker. A couple of you guys said something about it. This is probably the hardest thing I've had to do all day. Got the Jeep back outside because we are done with it. Got the wheels torqued down, everything like that. And that's gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. Hopefully that's the last time the XJ's in the shop for a little while, because I'm about tired of working on that thing. Make sure you stay tuned. I got some cool projects lined up coming up here in the near future. But I hope you enjoyed this one. If you liked the video, consider subscribing. Take it easy. I'll see you in the next one.